Hey guys, welcome to my Geek Rant. So I am finally back from my hiatus, and I'm going to do my first review of Star Wars Rebels, the pilot episode, and I dare say it is better than the Clone Wars. Well, granted, it's not that hard to be better than the Clone Wars series, because the Clone Wars series was not that great, but I was very surprised at how much I liked this pilot episode and what Rebels seems like it's trying to do. I think the slow pacing was very nice. It gave the show time to breathe and let us get involved with the characters a little bit more. I think it especially worked better than the Clone Wars series because we were following this huge war and we were following all these little planets and different facets and things like that. And with this, we are just with this one crew, and I feel like because we're so focused, we are more involved with the characters. There were some genuinely funny moments in this episode, mostly coming from Zeb. I'm not sure what species he is, but he's the alien character. Well, there's a few alien characters in the crew, but he's one of the two alien characters. There's Hera, who is the Twi'lek, and then there's and then Zeb, who I'm not sure what his species is, but I think he was based on the concept of the original Han Solo, who was supposed to be like that species. There was also some genuinely enchanting moments, and most of those came from Ezra, because we're seeing all of this through Ezra's eyes. It's like a new world to him. So every time we see something new, like for instance, there's a part in the episode where he has this revelation when he's in this certain place, and he's like, it's just like, wow, and you're like, wow, yeah, I didn't really think about that. Like, not everybody can be in that situation, and just seeing this new world through his eyes, I think is very compelling. We don't really get to see that much, at least since Luke Skywalker in A New Hope. I really love how Hera was kind of like the mother of the crew. I really got that vibe from her, and I think she carries over very well from the A New Dawn novel, the prequel novel to the series. I feel like reading about her and getting insights about her character really worked well with watching her now in the show in live action or animation. But yeah, I felt more for these characters in 40 minutes than I did for pretty much anybody in the Clone Wars series, and I can't quite touch upon what it is yet, but it's something that the show has something that the Clone Wars series did not have. Maybe it was the slow pace, but I'm really not sure. I know that the show will not always be this slow paced. I mean, they won't always have 40-minute, hour-long episodes. They're usually going to be like, half-hour episodes. But if they keep to this focused storyline, I think they have something very, very good on their hands. For instance, I think I see a lot of growth with this crew. Ezra is kind of like our vessel into this world, and he has a distinct relationship between all of them, and I can see their relationships growing throughout the season and then through the next season and in the whole series. His relationship with Hera is kind of like a mother son vibe going on, because Hera is kind of like the mother of the entire crew, but they had an individual conversation by themselves, and I got a very good vibe from Hera that she's gonna look after this kid, she's gonna give him lessons going on along the way, and I think that's very nice. I can see that growing in a very nice way. And then he also has a relationship with Sabine, who is the kind of bounty hunter Mandalorian the Mandalorian armor-clad woman who's in the crew as well, and they seem like they're gonna bond with their families, because they seem like they both lost their families to the Empire in one way or the other. I can also see his relationship with Zeb, the alien character, who I don't know what he is, but they're definitely gonna butt heads, of course. That's how it happened in the first episode, but I know that they'll always be there for each other, even though they have this rivalry together, that they'll still be there for each other. But most of all, I'm most compelled by Ezra's relationship with Kanan. Obviously, they're gonna have a master-apprentice relationship, but I can definitely see it. I can see it being more of like maybe a father-son or brother-to-brother relationship. They seem like they're going to have a very, very close-knit storyline together, being, both Force users. I think that's going to build very nicely, and I want to see that. We kind of get indications of that with Obi-Wan and Anakin with the movies, and then even more so in the series. I still think it wasn't perfect. I think what we saw in A New Hope and what we might have thought back about, Obi-Wan and Anakin, they used to be buddies, we didn't really see it as much as we could have seen it in those series, especially in the movies. In the movies, they didn't even seem like they were buddies at all. Also, I feel the overall relationship of this crew, this rebellious crew against the Empire, is very nice. We also get to see the Empire doing bad things. Like, we never actually got that in the original films. If you really think about it, we don't really see the Empire being necessarily evil in a grander scheme. Like we see it like with our heroes, that they're chasing them down, they're like killing them, stuff like that. They're blowing up planets, of course, but we don't see it on like a minute level with certain people and species and things like that. And I think we saw that very well, just even in the first episode, like seeing the relationship and seeing how important it is that this empire has to fall, and why it's so important for this rebellious crew to come out and fight against the empire. And oh man, the music in this show is very spot on. Like they definitely used some score from the original movie, which brings back the nostalgia, but they also have some new score which worked really well, I thought. But what's even more is that they didn't use score in a lot of places. There was times where the show was just quiet, and you can just listen to the ship, or you just listen to their voices. And I thought that was a very good choice to have music when you need it, but also just let the music die off, let the performances just come out. Not only did this pilot get me hyped for this series and the season, but it also has gotten me really pumped up for episode 7, because this, I feel like, is going to harken a lot to episode 7. Like I think we're going to get a lot of tidbits into what the new movie is going to be about, and if the movie has this same tone or even similar to it, or maybe a little bit darker, I think it'll be great, because I think a lot of people were afraid that Rebels was going to be too kiddie because it's going to be on Disney and Disney's going to like Disneyfy it or whatever. But this is actually extremely good. It's way less hokey than the Clone Wars series was. Like for instance, like you know how like they had the droid troopers, the battle droids in the Clone Wars. They were very like comical, which I actually thought was pretty funny, but some people thought it was a little bit too kiddish. The stormtroopers in this, they don't really do anything that's that. I mean, they do stupid things, so it's like you guys are funny because you guys are stupid and incompetent, but they weren't like mouthing off to each other and trying to be extra funny. Like it was just natural movement that was funny with them. I also like the big reveal at the end. It's not really a spoiler because it's in the trailer, but Kanan reveals himself to be a Jedi Knight, and he fights against the Empire. But what I liked most is that when he was deflecting the lightsaber bolts, it wasn't like he was a trained warrior. You can definitely see that he's not a trained Jedi, because he was a Padawan still when Order 66 went on. So that was a really nice touch. But I thought that it happened a little bit too quickly. I thought that would happen more into the season, and then something would compel him to be a Jedi, like to reveal himself. And it wasn't a very good situation that they used for him to be like, oh, I'm going to reveal myself now. Like it was a little bit, I think, rushed. It was rushed, and it didn't call for itself. Like he didn't need to pull out his blaster. His lightsaber. He could have just continued shooting with his blaster. He didn't have to be like, oh, let me like pull out my lightsaber. Like I think they kind of rushed that into it just so like it could be revealed that he's a Jedi and that he's going to train Ezra in the coming series in this season. Also, in the book, it really didn't seem like Kanan was ready to reveal himself as a Jedi. So maybe we'll get another book, revealing why he was so eager and so easily, ready to show himself as a Jedi. Because it was very quick in the show. I felt like it should have been a little bit slower at that point for that reveal. Also, I thought it was a very nice touch that it had a slightly older Obi-Wan Kenobi still communicating with the remaining Jedi. Because what we see from his holocron is that it's, or hologram, I should say, is that he's slightly older. He's not, the young Obi-Wan from Episode 3. He's not Ben Kenobi yet. He's like in the middle, and he's giving new information to the remaining Jedi, which I thought was a very nice touch. That he's continually touching base with the Jedi and with everybody who's out there. With all that said, the show is not without its faults. It's not perfect or anything like that. The music did get a little bit overdone sometimes. It could have been a little bit more subtle. Also, there was a few lines that were trying way too hard to harken back to the original trilogy. Like I think Kanan says a line where he basically rips it directly from Obi-Wan about like what the Force is, and I thought they could have done something new with it. I know they're trying to harken back to the original trilogy, like with the lightsabers and the animation and all that kind of stuff, but they also can hold back a little bit. I had the same criticism for the new Heir to the Jedi book. There was a preview with Luke Skywalker, and he's harkening back to the original trilogy, and I thought that was too much as well. The same situation here. They could have pulled back on the references a little bit, but it's really a small criticism. The show was actually very, very good. You know something? I think I know what it is about this show that is so great. It has heart, and I think that's something that was missing from the Clone Wars. It was so bogged down in plot and the storyline that it didn't take time really to invest in the characters. And Rebels really seems like it's investing in the characters and their struggles individually and as a group, and how each of them affect each other as a group and as individuals. And I think that's what it is. It has heart, and that's what the original trilogies had mostly, is that they had heart at its core. And it's kind of like what Obi-Wan said at the end of the episode: a new hope will emerge, and maybe perhaps this new series is a new hope to the overall Star Wars universe. And I, for one, am very much looking forward to the series, and I'm very, very happy in the direction that it's going. So fingers crossed, hopefully the quality of this series carries over into the rest. But yes, this is Antoine signing off. As always, peace, love, and may the Force be with you. Always. And most recently, Star Wars: A New Dawn. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the one, the only, John Jackson Miller.
Hey, how's it going?
Alright, cool. So you're Hagrid, I am the boy who lived. So I cheated a little bit. I played last night just to see how to play. Oh